Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Casper. As you guys already know, I'm very bullish on it, and as you guys could see on my screen, we cannot really use CoinMarketCap to really tell us the insights on some prices because everything is kind of glitched out here, especially if I move down the chart. You can pretty much see all of these things updating in real time in terms of these crazy prices and stuff like that. So, currently right now, everything is kind of glitched out on CoinMarketCap. So I can't really use it. So, in my mind, we still are up almost 3% on the global crypto market cap. Bitcoin right now sitting at about 48.2K. I'm waiting for it to really kind of validate a push over about the 53.5K level, which is this white line up here. It's also the demand zone that I have labeled on the chart. So, that's what I'm currently waiting for us to really break over. It's similar to the level that we were at around the summertime where we pretty much broke down below 30K. Everybody thought that this was pretty much over. We hit the 28.8K level. And in terms of that, this is the level that we were looking at. And then when we really kind of broke over it, it was like around the 37.4K to about the 40.8K level, as you guys do see over there. But, in my mind, when we're talking about this is pretty much those key levels all over again, where we are watching this kind of break back up into this demand zone, or, we could possibly still have downside. Downside is not, limited from here on Bitcoin. In my mind, Bitcoin still looks fairly, bearish. Yeah, sure, this current price action is fairly good when we're talking about, a 46K Bitcoin pretty much just recently. But overall, we could still test about 42K. We could still see a wick down to 42 to 46K, which will also bring Casper down significantly with it. Watch for those levels at around the 9 to 10 cent area to be retested on Casper if we do go down there. But I will say this, the good thing about Casper is that, when Casper was really going off to 24 cents, I told everybody, I would not buy this. I said it, every single time that, things kind of move like this. Do not just buy the top just because, hey, you have a fear of missing out. I know I talk about Casper, and I know I talk about a lot of altcoins in a very positive manner, especially Casper, okay? But that does not mean that you need to FOMO in when something is up. For an example, we'll just go off of the current price that we just seen recently, so it's around this candle here. Don't just FOMO into something that's already up 116% just because, I'm telling you, hey, this thing's going to go to the moon. Don't just do that. Don't get me wrong, 24 cents, if you bought at 24 cents, I still think that you're going to be looking good, especially in due time. But I'm just saying, in general, wait for it to have a little bit of a pullback, right? Maybe you bought here at about the 16 centile range or the 14.5 centile range, sorry. Or maybe you bought at 16, maybe you bought at 12, whatever the case may be. We just had a perfect retest of this point down here, which I'm not saying, hey, this was the best entry ever. No, I'm just saying for anybody who didn't have a Casper bag, this is where you pretty much want it to get in. This is still at a good point. I mean, overall, look at the point that we're at. This is pretty much going all the way back to even October. So this level that we're at currently is a blessing in disguise, especially if we are in an extended bull run. If we're not in an extended bull run, be careful because this could be a bear market. And I'm still in Casper. I have not sold my Casper. I actually haven't sold any altcoins just recently because I'm just not worried about this market. I still think that altcoins have a lot more, upward momentum in them. If you go to the total, two and really kind of look at the total two and kind of zoom out on the weekly basis, you could pretty much see that, this just does not make sense for us to be in a bear market. I mean, it looks like we're pretty much repeating that May drop yet again. And there's nothing to really be bearish about here. Even if you look at the total three, which is just pretty much altcoins in general without Bitcoin and Ethereum, I mean, look at this. This looks like a pretty good point that we're at now. I mean, obviously, we still have a lot of grounds to make up, but overall, this still looks fairly good to me. We haven't lost significant points. I mean, the level that we're currently at is going all the way back to September. So, everybody's panicky, everybody's scared, everybody's worried, everybody's concerned. But honestly, this year, and I know a lot of people didn't want to admit this, but this year is completely different in terms of the structure because by now we should have at least been going off. But it looks like we are in an extended bull run. I know it's the first time ever, but with how much money has been flowing into crypto, with how much mainstream media attention that we've been having, it does make sense for this year to look a little bit different. Now, before I fully jump on into this, video, I just want to ask if you guys could please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and I do greatly appreciate it. You guys have no idea how much it does help the channel grow. It also helps the video get out to more and more people, so I do greatly appreciate that. Also, if you guys do want to go check out my, crypto insights, my trading indicators, stuff like that, you guys are more than welcome to go check out NCashOfficial.com. I just released a new product on here. It's pretty much my overall swing trading strategy, which pretty much turned 1K into $1 million. So trust me when I say this, a lot of stuff on here is extremely valuable. And when we're talking about things, the Ultimate Crusader Trading Bundle Pack is the best deal for your buck, not because it is the most expensive product on the website, but because it does include everything on the website as well as all feature content for free. And it is on sale 35% off for a limited time only. So this $100 is actually right now currently $65. So with all of that in mind, links are down in the description below as well as in the comments below. You guys are more than welcome to go check it out. Now, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about Casper in terms of the price. So obviously the price is bouncing back a little bit, especially in terms of, other altcoins. I think that it's had, one of the strongest bounce backs, realistically speaking. But in terms of the social metrics, we are up in social volume, engagement, dominance, and contributors. Now, this tells me that a lot of people are engaged in terms of Casper. People know about Casper. People are learning about it now. A lot of people, are, new to Casper and what it really is doing. And that's great to see because this is still telling me that we are very early. I mean, this is a $356 million, altcoin gem. Okay, compared to the rest of this market, this is probably one of the most undervalued assets in the space, similar to, HBAR and stuff. But this layer 1 specifically, in my mind, has a very bright future ahead of it. I've always said that. We've talked about it. And in terms of the future for this, I think that once the market really kind of settles down, because right now, it's really, this market currently is just overheated right now. There's a lot of, volatile price action currently. I just want it to settle down, relax a little bit, maybe even trade sideways a little bit more before the next major move upward. That will allow a lot more altcoins to really kind of move on. Now, in my mind, Bitcoin dominance still has a little bit of time. I've been talking to you guys a little bit about these levels that we're at. So let me remove everything off the screen besides that green rectangle, because that green rectangle is pretty much a key point to really kind of look at, because it is also very, interesting to say the least where we are currently on Bitcoin dominance. So I've been talking to you guys a little bit about Bitcoin dominance and its overall correlation to altcoins. Obviously, every single time that we're down here, this is pretty much not the point that you want to be buying altcoins at. You want to actually be buying altcoins, somewhere up here, because when Bitcoin dominance is dropping and Bitcoin dominance is or Bitcoin's price in general is going up, that is the perfect point to be in altcoins, because that means altcoins are going to move extremely fast. Now, I will say this. It looks like Bitcoin dominance is going to have a very strong reversal. I potentially think that we could see 48 to 50% to really kind of restructure the entire bull run pattern. Now, while Bitcoin, in itself, if the top isn't in, I just want to mind you, is going to make a new high, Bitcoin dominance is going to rise. Now, I'm not saying it's not a bad time to jump into Casper. That's not what I'm saying. You could still buy, altcoins when they are down significantly, especially if the chart looks very bullish. And in my mind, Casper right now, from its bottom lows that it just printed in September to the current point that we're at currently now, is only up 70%. Now, if you're going off of the summer lows, yeah, we're still up about 142%, but that's not much at all in this market. So it's still a good, point to get into. But what I'm saying right now is that Bitcoin dominance is about to have a strong reversal, in my opinion, which means that Bitcoin's price is going to rise significantly and possibly have its major actual topping event. But this isn't going to happen overnight. This isn't going to happen by the end of this month. It's going to take a little bit of time, which is telling me this is why we are in a lengthened cycle. Now, all while this is happening, I think that alts are going to have a little bit of, sort of a boar fest sort of movement where we do trade sideways a little bit until the next major move throughout the market. But that next major move, in my mind, is going to allow Casper to hit some very high key targets. And if we are in a lengthened cycle, prepare yourselves for where Casper could really kind of go in terms of price, because that means that Casper is not going to go to 24 cents. It's not going to go to 50 cents. It's going to go to a major high level target, and that level is well beyond $1 in my mind. In fact, I believe that we could 10x from our current level fairly easily, which would be about almost $1.30. So in my mind, Casper has a ton of upside potential, especially with what it's really kind of doing as a layer 1 asset, and we still have a lot of stuff to really kind of report on in terms of the future of this, because the ecosystem for Casper is still growing astronomically, and that is why I've always said, in terms of Casper's upside potential, let's actually just remove this fib level off of here and really kind of zoom out a little bit. Look at the upside potential on this. Even if we're going to the weekly chart, right? Just look at the weekly chart for this. And I know I have a couple levels up here. $4.38 is pretty much the high that was set on the weekly chart. $1.50 is essentially, just a 10x from like 15 cents, for an example. But $4 to $7 is my range. That is my key range for Casper. Those are significant levels in my mind for us to really kind of hit. But on the weekly, everybody, is a little bit bearish right now throughout the market. But I just don't understand, because these levels that we are testing is still around the August to even September, low pretty much. And in my mind, this is actually very bullish for us. It almost restructures the entire next major move on a lot of altcoins, and I'm actually very bullish on it. And in terms of Casper, if we're looking at the daily chart, like I said, those highs up here, which is a double pattern, by the way. So this was a target that it actually did hit, and it held fairly significantly. And I shouldn't say it held significant, but it just held in general before it had this massive drop. It's around that $4.40 range. Now, like I said, a lot of these altcoins in this market, everybody thinks that are extremely strong, but Casper is one of those assets that, in my mind, is actually very strong, especially when we test a bottom support level, which is the November low, by the way. So this does look a little bit bottomed out to me. Of course, downside is not limited, especially considering the fact that Bitcoin is pretty much the key player to look at right now. And if we're looking at the Casper Bitcoin chart, this is probably one of the strongest altcoins, especially when it does come to the Bitcoin chart, because we didn't have a massive crashing event like some altcoins did. I mean, we did lose some traction, sure, but if you guys did invest into Casper when I told you guys about it, and I'm not saying everybody did get to do that, but I'm just saying in general, if you guys did, you'd still be up in, profit right now. So, in my mind, this is going to have that, strong reversal similar to other altcoins. But for Casper, as you guys do know, when Bitcoin really kind of does take off, Casper does take off as well. And we've seen that in the past. We've seen it throughout this entire time that we've been holding Casper. It's one of the strongest movers. And currently, that bottom support layer that we hit on the 14th, which was essentially today, look at the point that we hit. We targeted almost the lows from November, or that major support zone going back to November. This was the demand zone. So this demand zone that we just targeted is pretty significant. I think that this is a point that we need to watch for, because if this is a reversal, we're looking at some major high test levels, and I think that this is a pretty good point that we were just at. I think that this is a solid entry point for anybody who does want to get into it. Of course, this is on the Bitcoin chart, so don't look at the Bitcoin chart, more so look at the USDT pair for anybody who's going to be entering this, because this is pretty much where you are going to be buying at. But you could also see that demand zone labeled on the chart here as well, which is essentially down at this point here. So this is pretty much those lows patterns that we've been talking about. So just to kind of sum it up, just to give you guys an insight, Casper social metric volume is actually increasing. So a lot of people are, learning about it. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are realizing how big Casper is going to be. There's been a lot of updates, especially with like NFTs and stuff with Wise, that I'm going to probably report on tomorrow. I'll be definitely updating you guys throughout the week on Casper and stuff like that, especially the market. I think that it's great that we got through the Monday blues, which it's technically Monday reds, because Monday usually is a bad day for crypto. It just works like that. You really kind of take your profit on the weekend, and then you pretty much buy on Monday. It's pretty much the same repetitive pattern. But overall, right now things are looking pretty good. I wouldn't say bullish, because like I said, You know, downside is not limited on Bitcoin until we do break over my key levels. So keep note of those levels up here, which is around the 53.5K to like almost $56,000 level. If we break over 56 grand, that's it. Like we're going to the next major high that we are pretty much targeting. So, you know, these levels are significant. I'm waiting for everything to play out. I'm waiting patiently. I'm waiting just alongside of all of you guys. I'm holding strong. I'm waiting, and waiting. That's all we have to do is just wait. Sit on your hands, wait, because do not sell at a loss. In my opinion, there is no real need to until we have a validation of us being in a bear market. Of course, you know, once you do 10x your investment, 5 to 10x is pretty much my key insights. You know, of course, look to take profit and secure those profits. But with all of that in mind, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys don't want free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and don't forget to go down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or beautiful night wherever you guys are in this video. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.